What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Chop Sports Daily, coming to you live from the Flipping Made Easy studio right here in Matawan, New Jersey. It is Sturch. It is the return of the Mac. Gooch is in the building. What's going on, bro? How you feeling? You all right? Everything cool?
I'm feeling good. I'm a little run down from the weekend. If you want to call it a weekend, it extended into the week. But yeah, man, I'm struggling. 40 years old, snowboarding. Not the best idea, but I'm back.
Bitten off a little bit more.
It was more than the snowboarding that I just couldn't bear, but we'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into
Great trip though, nonetheless.
Good. I'm glad you had a good time. We had Scoop in here the last 2 days. I want to thank Scoop for his contributions. You can check out Scoop each and every Friday or I would say each and every Friday, but they've run into so many problems over the course of their first month and a half of being with us. You can check out Scoop and his cousin Vinny over at the Cross Court Cast. Yes,
Kyle's got jokes already. Who's the dude on the right and where's Scoop?
Yeah, exactly. What did you do with Scoop? So we had a great time, me and Scoop. Definitely did topics that I know that I can only get away with Scoop. Because if we did movies with you, it would just be like, that movie sucked.
There's probably 2 good movies out of the 10 that you guys named. Well, although I would have done the thing a little different. I would have just let you pick the movies because I don't really have a top 10. I've only liked 3 movies in my entire life. So sports movies are typically bad. I think they're overdone and over dramatic, but I would have just ripped your list to shreds. I'm not going to do that now.
Yeah,
maybe I'll talk shit to you afterwards.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
I'll spare the people.
But anyway, so it is also Dina in the house. A4 is in the house, also working diligently on all of the intern responsibilities. Lots to get into today. Like I said, I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're upright. There was times that I did worry that you might have, ran into a tree. I don't know. There was times and I don't understand, I guess, service, I don't know how much service you had.
Well,
if you're on the mountains,
I got one of the,
anyway.
I'm not going to call it the Metro PCS. It's not Verizon. All right. Metro piece of shit. We'll call it. But yeah, I was just stuck on the mountain.
You have that?
Yeah. I refused to get into a contract. And this was 3 years ago. And honestly, I've always thought.
I knew that's why Ashley answered and you didn't. I was like,
I wasn't getting any service. No, I saw your text because we were on the way when you texted me, but then I was busy. We ended up renting skis for me instead of a snowboard. So when we got there, we had a big issue.
Dina, we have it. There's breaking footage here. Bring it up. There he is.
Oh,
Sean White himself, ladies and gentlemen. Dad, I can't see too well. Is that Sean White snowboarding?
The only issue I have with this picture, I have several issues with this picture, but I'll start off by saying
glove. Michael Jackson.
I look fucking European as fuck. All right. I look like I'm straight off of the Swiss Alps in this one.
Oh my goodness.
And this is probably right after. If you look really close, you could see that I have a big bruise on my asshole in this picture. And maybe I can't say asshole on her. A bruised sphincter. All right. But yeah, man, I fell on my ass a couple times. I had 2 really bad falls. The real issue, and this is my excuse for not being up to par, is that we were originally supposed to go on Sunday. We ended up dropping the ball, and I say we, I mean me. I never reserved our lift tickets for Sunday, so we had to push everything back to Monday, which is why I wasn't able to do the graphics, which I never even told you until now. But what ended up happening was,
as I'm scrambling,
all I did for 2 days was smoke weed and eat a ton of food. We went out to eat. That's basically what you do when you go away. You just eat a lot. So by the time Monday rolled around, I was just a fat piece of shit, and I was technically just rolling down the mountain. I really wasn't snowboarding.
Somebody pushed us.
We got on the bunny hill to get a feel for it, and I fell 11 times. It was not steep enough, if that makes sense. I just couldn't get anywhere. Literally, you're stuck in a snowboard, and I'm like, all right, now how? Now what? How am I supposed to get over there? But once I got on the actual mountain, it was good. I was actually impressed with how I hadn't done it in 10 years. I've only done it twice before that in my life, and I did well. You can see by the picture, I'm leaning forward.
Yeah.
If anybody leans forward on a snowboard, that they at least have a slight understanding of it, even though I did fall a bunch.
I think I got a snowboard once for Christmas when I was a kid, and I never used it. I was like, I'm not built for this. My weight started to gain around 6th grade, so if it was after that, forget it. My fat ass ain't going down the hill. And we have a great hill in the back of my dad's yard. That's where I practice.
With snowboarding?
No, I'm saying for sledding.
Yeah, you just stand on the sled and do the surfboard down it until you get
sit on it.
Oh, God.
Sit on the sled.
Where's your adventure? Where's your adventure? That's probably why I have a
my
litany of injuries.
We had a staircase that goes down to the basement in my dad's backyard, and we left it open. I was I don't know, 8, maybe 7. My brother was 5 or 6. we would just go sledding every winter, right? And so there's a big snowstorm. It might have even been the storm in 96. Who knows? Maybe I was 10. But we're going down the hill, and my brother is on a sleigh or sled or whatever the hell you call it. I'm not saying
Sleigh. What is this, 1920?
Yeah, right.
He went sleigh riding in the Great Depression.
So no, he goes sliding down, and everybody sees the trajectory of where he's going to go. He's going to run right into a tree, right? So my dad, as a hero that he is, jumps in front of my brother to deflect him, right? Which are like, oh my God, he just saved the day. But he deflected him towards the downstairs, and Danny went straight down into the basement and crashed into the laundry.
And he's alive.
And he's alive. My brother's been through some shit. He is the Mick Foley of things.
Growing up in the ghetto of Colonia, I've had a few issues sleigh riding down by the high school. I watched Walter Assing snap his ankle in half. Also, I will mention that it was slightly embarrassing going down the mountain and having my girlfriend go 40 yards and then turn around and wait for me
in front of you.
Yeah, bro. I was like, she was like one of those people that knows how to ski uphill.
She hustled you.
Yeah, no.
She
told me she hadn't done it in a while either. And I expected, I'm worried. I'm like, it's a winter sport. She wouldn't be caught dead out in the cold weather, things like that. But luckily for her, it was 65 degrees on the mountain. Unlucky for me because I was a dripping fat mess, like I had mentioned earlier. But no, it was a great time. I would love to do it again. Good. And now with the knowledge that I have, I'll probably only fall 5 times instead.
According to Jimmy Palumbo, not in the chat right now, but he said now it's almost a prerequisite that any employee of Chop Sports has to go skiing before March 15th. So obviously he went, you went. Now I gotta go. Like Dina's gotta go. You're gonna send A4 to the top of the hill. It is. It's. You ever gone skiing? Ant? You're good with it?
So I've never been skiing before, but everyone has told me oh, you skate, you play hockey, skiing would come natural nature. To you.
Yeah, maybe. So you never know.
I've
never.
No.
I have the same issue, or at least I did. I'm getting better at it now with the snowboard, but I know how to start. I know how to go, but stopping is the major issue. And how do
I go?
I just got to board myself if I'm ice skating. For the hockey fans out there, boarding yourself.
I know how to ice skate. That's for sure. We're gonna get into a lot of stuff today. Obviously, Rodgers on the Pat McAfee show, the MLB Lockout stuff, progress. There's a big. I found it to be big. JJ Reddick has all of a sudden become a personality now on all these shows, and he said a little bit of something about Zion Williamson. Which will lead us to the meat and potatoes of today's episode, which we want to go over the biggest busts in pro sports history. But before
such a cookie cutter topic, that's how you know we're in the dog days.
Yeah, we are in the dog days of preseason.
We were expecting some franchise tags to get slapped.
Yeah, we expect some kind of news, and maybe things are happening as we're going, but no franchise tags yet. We'll get into the Packers situation.
It'll come out at 12.
Yeah, 12:06. That's true. It'll come out at 12. You're right. Before we get into all that, we do got to say support for Chop Sports Daily is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped recently launched the Ultimate Men's Hygiene Bundle, the Performance Package. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with their exclusive offer, 20% off, free worldwide shipping anywhere, even on the mountain. So we could have shipped you something from Manscaped had you have needed
I brought my shit.
I was going to say, you brought your performance
package. Aerodynamics down the mountain.
So that's good. So trust that there's, 4 million men who trust it, 8 million balls out there that are responsible. The Performance Package 4.0 has arrived. Inside the package, you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0, which you used the other day in the office, cut off half your arm, but you realize
no. It didn't cut off half my arm. It reduces the risk of nicks. So I did not have to worry about cutting off my arm, but all the hairs on my arm.
That's what I meant. Your arm hair. They're gone. It's a 4th generation trimmer. So they're running this through the mill to make sure everything's perfect. They do have advanced skin safe technology. So it reduces the terrible accidents. Nobody wants to cut your balls open. 400K LED lights, so you can literally shave in the dark, right? We've agreed that this is a good idea?
No. Yeah, no.
It's not a good idea.
Still no, Dave.
No more messing up the bathroom.
It helps. Yeah, I did it. I mean,
it's precision. You
less lit, we'll call it. It was less lit. If you use it in the shower.
As the kids are saying now.
I don't have a bright light in my shower, so it's a little less lit, and no cleanup, right down the drain.
We all have right down the drain. Call the bathroom that goes out.
Yeah, no, I know. It also has the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer for your nostrils. That's a good thing. It's not a good look, guys. I mean, if you have the nose hairs and the ear hairs coming, it's just not a good look. Dina's not going to find you attractive.
And they also help for the ladies too, because Ash will definitely be using my nose hair trimmer for her eyebrows and just to touch up things. It,
it
definitely works.
That
thing helps. That thing helps. You also realize that humans do have nose hair.
Yes, but sometimes it grows a little too out of control as you get older.
And like women also have nose hair. And the reason why it doesn't show is because they typically stay on top of it. But
there you go.
Some gnarly women in the mountains, bro. I saw a lot of nose hair.
The crop preserver, ball deodorant, and crop reviver are exactly what they sound like. Your balls are literally tucked into your boxers, your briefs, or whatever you decide to wear. They get nasty throughout the course of the day. Go use these products right now. Get 20% off, free shipping. Code SHOPSPORTS at manscaped.com. You're going to be walking around like McGregor, who scared you before. We have a cardboard cutout of McGregor, and it's almost scared him shitless.
No, it did. It didn't almost. And I was the one that put it up. So
I know.
Figure.
So you should know that. Let's see. I bought a Manscaped, and I'm now rich in my illustrious wig business.
So meaning like
that's gross.
That's disgusting.
What movie is
AJ.
that from? Was that they gave the pube hair beard? Was that Jackass? Was that also on
nasty.
like The Hangover for some reason? Was there any type of men?
I feel like I have seen that in a movie that wasn't Jackass.
Team America? America.
I don't know. I haven't seen that movie.
You've never seen Team America?
That movie.
I'm like running it back through my head. I don't think it was that one.
So it wasn't that because
Chris Payne is correcting my math. He said there's not 8 million testicles. See John Kruk. So yes, there are people out there that have lost a nut, and I'm sorry for that. And maybe have lost both nuts, and I don't. Again, that sucks. I mean, but then you still got to keep them groomed. They're there.
How would you go about? How would you go about shaving your
Chris,
sack?
Thank you.
How would you go about shaving your sack if you had no nuts? You would have to like pull it and stretch it.
All right. Yeah, I guess so. I guess
do the proverbial bat wing.
Big brain. Oh, such a good movie. Waiting. You must have loved that movie. That's like right up your alley as far as like your career. Waiting.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that was a great movie. Ryan Reynolds, the man. Anyway, welcome Allison Bradbury von Fayai.
That is a bot.
That's a bot, I know. Stimmy OG. He likes using the trimmer for the bottom of his feet. That's cool too. Whatever works, bro. I mean, listen, you a bunch of hairy mother effers out there, so go ahead and fix yourself up.
I made the same exact joke to Ashley the other day. I said, I just gotta shave my feet before we leave, and she was like, and like she stopped for a second. She's like, "Are you serious?" I was like, "No."
Yes. Yeah. And then you just hold your foot up like Rodgers, like when you're just like showing him your big toe. Speaking of Mr. Rodgers, why don't we bring him up? Because there is a no decision. We're all excited. There was 120,000 people tuned into the Pat McAfee show yesterday to find out that Rodgers gave away nothing, not a damn iota of what he decided to do or will decide to do with the Green Bay Packers. I know I tuned in. I turned the damn thing on right away. I was like, I got to see this. Let's see what happens. And he made it pretty apparent right away. Hey, no decision is going to be made. If you want to turn it off, turn it off. You know, if you don't want to listen to him speak.
I have so many takeaways from this too.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of takeaways. There's a lot of funny moments. And I'm going to say this right now. If you don't like Aaron Rodgers, the person, then you don't vibe with me. Because it's just like he's a dude's dude. He's a funny guy. He's very dry. And I just think he's awesome. And yes, has he broke my heart on the football field? Multiple times.
I could understand why people will not like him. They'll take exception with the attention seeking, you want to call it. But look, he's a pro athlete. What do you think these guys are about? Of course he wants the attention. He could deflect that all he wants. Me personally, the way I see it is he knows exactly what he wants to do right now. There's a couple things that are it hinges on. And I think that he's using whatever leverage he gained last year in the offseason into this season and whatever meetings he had with the team now. And he wants Randall Cobb back because I know if you look at the contract, Cobb is a cap casualty, and he wants to see what happens with Devontae Adams. He came right out and said they have to franchise tag. You know, the franchise tag thing came out this week, and I know not everyone will be happy with it, but Rodgers is pretty much alluding to the fact that he wants them to tag Adams, so there's an exclusive window for the Packers to negotiate. And if Adams comes back, then Rodgers will be back. There's almost a 0%.
You think it's contingent on that? Or completely?
I don't think it's contingent on any of it. I think Rodgers is playing. That's what I think.
Okay.
I think the Packers understand that the window is small now with Rodgers. It could be a year-to-year thing. And Devontae Adams is a premier player in the league. While I don't agree with the contract and I don't necessarily like giving all that money to a wideout, you know, if it means keeping Rodgers in town. And we saw the news this morning where Kenny Clark restructured his contract, freeing up $11 million in cap for the Packers. There's still clear work to do in that regard. I do think,
but this is when the NFL teams are going to start doing some work.
You're going to start to see the work get done. Kenny Clark has a pretty much no guarantees going forward, but he's getting all of the money that he would have been paid in signing bonus money. So he's paid, he's taken care of. Shout out to Kenny Clark for that. I would imagine that you're going to see Rodgers and Adams be like a dual news that they're both coming back to the Packers, and
then they can do the last dance thing.
And then they could do the last dance next year.
There is some opinions coming in about A-Rod. I would say Steven Doucette coming in. I hope he stays. He doesn't like when OG players leave their teams. I don't think. Again, I think we're both on the same page.
Yeah.
If he doesn't play with the Packers, he doesn't play.
It would be a complete 180 if Rodgers right now came out and said, I'm going to play, trade me. Because the way he's talking glowing, all the appreciation, and people want to talk shit. I mean, it was a little corny, his post. But
yeah, I mean, it was also, have you ever
done no, he wasn't. I found out what he was. So did the world. Have you ever done a PK, bro? A Panchakarma, which I haven't, but I'm sure as fuck about to. And we are back on my live, but there's people here, right?
No, you're still good.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. We're back.
Yep.
Are we back? Can I get a little confirmation from the listeners, please? And then add a nice, beautiful graphic. Hey, all right, we are back. That was the Russians, I'm pretty sure, or something of that effect.
All right. Appreciate you, Russia, for getting involved.
We got a little echo, reverb.
No, is there? Make sure you mute everybody.
Literally just did. Okay.
Everybody good?
Yep.
You're the only one not, right? All right. Sorry about that, folks. I know we literally had a complete blackout. Like everything in the entire building went out. But thank you for sticking with us. We appreciate you. Always a good technical difficulty. Scoop clearly hacked into the server, is what I'm hearing. That is the rumor. I don't know if the rumor is true or not, but it possibly could be. What?
Did he hack into a power pole?
I don't know. Maybe he ran into the power pole. Just so upset that he's not there. We got the echo. There's no more echo, right? Everything's muted.
Yeah, everything's muted.
All right, cool.
Did we also
Everybody
somehow
but me on
lose
all
our
sides.
graphic that we were using?
Yeah, it's gone.
Wait, what do you mean it's gone?
I mean, it's gone.
It's not there? Like it's
There's
not.
no Rodgers.
No, yeah. So either way, we're
Anyway,
talking about
we're-
Aaron Rodgers and his
yeah.
Panchakarma.
Panchakarma. Yeah,
Basically,
which
it's a-
by the way, as soon as you said the word karma, pow, we lost
was
power.
crazy.
How you like that shit? Huh?
I'm pretty sure it was the Russians. It had
All
nothing to
right.
do with
Damn,
what do we call it? Karma. What did I do? What did I do? That
Yeah, Scoop came in. I removed the graphic.
What did I do?
what did I do that would deserve bad karma
What
in
did
this
we
case? Just because
do?
I said Panchakarma. Does anybody know what Panchakarma is now?
I don't, but I would like to know. I didn't. Get to hear
Basically,
it.
it's a thing where you drink a bunch of weird shit and throw up and shit for 12
Fun.
days straight.
That sounds
So when
fun.
Aaron Rodgers was doing his MVP speech, he apparently had to take a big shit because he was on it then because it's a 12-day thing. Yeah,
Well, is that why you wore brown?
I don't know.
Never know.
I don't know. As we were talking about Aaron Rodgers taking a dump, I guess we can move off of the Aaron Rodgers topic because
Yeah. So is there any graphics left?
yeah, there is. There's plenty. It's just the one that we were
Yeah.
using is gone.
That's weird. Is that weird? Is that weird to you?
Yeah,
It's
it
not
is.
there. Anyway,
it is, but
moving on. MLB Lockout, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of an update. Ski. Two. Not really much of an update, but 2 days. They
you haven't spoken about this in Monday
At
or
all,
Tuesday.
no.
So,
So,
we
yeah.
talked about it a little bit on Friday, and as things were left on Friday, you mentioned or you sent me a graphic, and it was the players basically talking shit.
Yeah.
They didn't really meet. The players said, don't believe that it's an actual lockout. We're not. It's not a strike. The players aren't trying to not play. They want to play. The owners are locking out the players. So to say that there's a work stoppage, it's not necessarily. I mean, there is because they're not playing. They're not practicing. They're not at spring training. But to say that it's a work stoppage, it kind of like makes it like the players are on strike. Really, in this case, it's not that. They're a little closer. They managed to make some progress. They had multiple days of 5 or 6 hours of negotiating, and that's obviously a step forward in terms of where we were for the first 46 days, where they met for a total of 6 hours
Right.
over the course of a month and a half. But as of now, we're still in a bad spot. We don't have baseball. Tomorrow is the deadline as to where they're going to officially.
Is it tomorrow? Oh, I thought it was Friday.
Or tomorrow or Friday. The end
Okay.
of this week is the deadline. I think it is tomorrow. Maybe.
Okay.
The deadline as to where if they don't actually have things hammered out, that they're going to officially cancel some spring training games. I'm pretty sure
Not
at
the end
this
of the
point,
world.
At this point, it's not the end of the world, but we were talking about having an accelerated offseason and all things like that. The way I'm hearing it is that teams are still talking to players and their agents are still talking to teams.
So it's not really tampering. It's just like we're allowed to work.
Well,
The owners don't want to open up the
what
doors.
exactly would you say is tampering when all bets are off? Like there is no.
I never really understood that,
There is no
the tampering thing.
I would say that if anything, it's more or less in bad faith with the union if you're going to negotiate currently with the teams to get a deal done, not being unified with your players. But at the same time, if you're a free agent, you have a family to feed, you have your future to look out for. I would be doing these backdoor deals if possible. And I think that's where all the news is coming out about the Freddie Freeman situation, where they're saying that the very first shoe to fall, as soon as they do this, is Freddie Freeman's going to sign immediately
With the Yankees.
Well, they're saying it's growing speculation that it will not be with the Braves. I don't know if there's another team in there, but everything I've been hearing has been the Yankees.
I'm with it.
So we'll see.
We'll see. I mean, look, it's just a bad look right now, and just hammer something out, man. This is like it's getting to the point where the players are literally going public and saying, like, it's not us, it's them. Like
it is.
they have their what they want.
To say that the players aren't at fault at all, I guess would be wrong.
You can't.
Because
You gotta blame something.
They are beefing and they have some legitimate gripes. Though I think that, like I said, I compare the owners
10-year
to like
agreement.
I compare the owners to like whatever big business you want to compare it to, big government, and the players are basically society in this case. Granted, it's a maybe a little skewed in terms of a analogy, but it is true though. You know, the owners have a long-term vision where the players have a small window to capitalize on their talent now. So, but with the same time having an obligation to the future of the game to make sure you leave the game in good hands for the players of the future. I don't think it's going to happen anytime within the next couple of weeks. So like I've been saying all along, I would say mid-May is my prediction. My prediction is based off of nothing. It's just my opinion. I don't think that they're going to let too many games go by because of the negative impact that it'll have. But when they do,
I think it's already had a significant negative impact.
When they do get going, though, I anticipate it being full force, fans back. Nobody's going to care. I want baseball back, right? You want baseball back.
100%.
Baseball fans want the game back. They don't really care about this shit. If it happens in mid-May, there may be people complaining.
Do you think there's people out there that are just like, this is like their last straw with baseball? Like, I'm done with it because of this shit. Like, we'll never watch another game.
And I don't mean to be morbid when I say this, but if those people, and when I say long-term plan and fixing the game and making changes that a lot of baseball, they're not part of the long-term plan anyway. Right. And I don't say that, but the same way with the MLB Hall of Fame voters and things like that, the fans of the game in 10 years aren't going to remember the strike. They're not going to give a shit. I mean,
so, we reference 94 a lot.
Yeah,
when we're talking about this kind of shit.
I've watched a lot of baseball since 94.
That's true.
You know, if my team is good and baseball is interesting, I'm going to watch. You know, it's that simple. Even if my team isn't good, I'll find reasons why. I can't wait for fantasy baseball to come back. I can't wait for all these things. So, yeah, I'm not really worried about the state of the game when it comes back. Maybe Manfred is the main issue with the game, but at the same time, it's a hard job. Who are you going to really please? You can't please everybody. I guess you have to worry about pleasing the people that are paying you, and that's the owners. So
Scoop coming in. Love billionaires and millionaires fighting over pennies. It's my favorite. Yeah, I mean that's where we're at. That's where it seems to be going.
That's that's life. Everywhere you go in life, that's what's going on.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, hopefully we get baseball back and soon because we are starving for sports right now. And obviously, yes, there's hockey and there's basketball comes back tomorrow with a full slate. Wait, no, not tomorrow. Friday with a full slate. But that's even better because I think Friday we're going to have Kyle and Toast. Is that right?
Yeah.
Toast in the building.
Toast will be here.
So that's it. A four-way dance on Friday's show. So we're excited about that. Maybe we get some free plays from Kyle. We'll see. But yeah, so in any event, before we get into some of the highly debatable things, or at least, definitely a topic that I know a lot of you guys are going to start just throwing names out there, and we'll do our best not to get distracted from that. But first, Dina's got something from Lilac and Sage Boutique.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lilac and Sage Boutique is a veteran-owned LEO spouse-operated boutique based out of North Carolina. Their goal is to continue their service by providing affordable clothing to other hardworking women. They ship orders all over the world. Be sure to check them out at lilacsageboutique.com and join their mailing list so you don't miss out on any new arrivals. Use promo code CHOP10 to receive 10% off your purchase.
Thank you, Dina. LilacSageBoutique.com for all your women's clothing. They also ship all over the world. It's great. You know, like we have all these sponsors now that just ship all over the world, which is incredible. Yeah, Dina's got a nice Robin Quivers thing going on right now. Yeah, and I'm Artie Lang and he's Howard Stern.
I don't fuck with Howard Stern.
You don't like Howard Stern?
No,
I liked Howard Stern pre-serious.
Yeah, like when he was still pushing the envelope because he was not allowed to say the crazy things.
Right, but then you can say
at the
anything
same time, chalk Howard Stern up as one of the people that are uncancelable, but will cancel people. So I don't fuck with Howard Stern. And he had a lot of disparaging things to say about my boyfriend Aaron Rodgers. So I'm not really a fan.
Oh man, I like Howard Stern. I ran into him once. Tall as shit, by the way. I worked at Sirius XM, so I ran into him. He has his own elevator. I went to the wrong elevator once, and I was just like, hit the button. And they're like, "Sir, you can't be here." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And before I could even okay, doors open. Here's Howard Stern. Like, I was like,
Howard Stern.
I got like escorted. I was like, I work here.
Has officially turned into pig vomit. He is now an NBC exec or a big
WNBC.
He's a piece of shit.
Damn, my throat is really killing me right now. This sucks.
Did you take that Zycam?
I did take the Zycam. It's what happens. I love more than anything else in the world family time. I do. I really do. It's my favorite thing in the world. But with that, you know, my daughter, my son, they don't go to daycare right now. Other kids go out, school, daycare. They bring their little germs home. Then they hang out with Stella over the weekend. Stella's got the runny nose going on now. Here I am with a sore throat. Anyway, But anyway, so yeah, let's get to the meat and potatoes, right?
I like potatoes.
I do too. I'm actually kind of hungry. So on record, JJ Reddick came out and he's starting to become a little bit of a personality, right? And I know a lot of guys they like JJ Reddick. And then there's a lot of guys that if you're not a Duke fan, you hate JJ Reddick. He went out there on record and said, you know, one of the most important things to do as an athlete when you're on a team, you're shaking your head no.
I'm annoyed. It's nothing to do with what you're saying. It's just a graphics issue.
Oh, okay.
Because the other graphics did get deleted now that I'm looking, because I had a Zion one.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, in any event, you can leave this one up because that's where we're about to go with it. But JJ Reddick said, you know, you got to take care of your body. You got to take care of this. You got to focus on your foot. He thinks Zion Williamson has done none of it, right? And he's went on record to say it. Zion Williamson is turning out to be one of the biggest busts in professional sports history. And you said it in when we were talking about this topic. You said that you never actually bought into the Zion hype.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean that he's not a bust, but just looking at him, even in high school, it just looked like he was going to be a little thick in the ass, we'll call it. He's just a little big bone for an NBA, the way the NBA is set up right now. If Zion played maybe 25 years ago, he would have been able to play the bully ball a little bit better. Although I think the NBA big men would have matched up a little bit better against him at that time. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, like a guy like Zion, he doesn't have really an outside shot. He's just he's an undersized big man because he's not tall enough to play down low.
Payne says he weighs 317 pounds.
Yeah.
And that might be a real thing.
That might be bullshit. I'm saying he might be 370 because you look at a guy like Luka. Luka and Zion are like the same height. Luka's like 270. You know, like you're not realizing how tall these guys are. So when you're 6'6", you don't have to be that thick to be 250. You know, you're 6'6", 6'7". These guys are big dudes, and Zion is.
I'm 6'1", 255 to give you an idea.
If you would have seen the graphic I have of Zion, he just looks like a fat slob, and I don't say that in a bad. Like I have nothing against Zion. I actually feel bad for him. You know, like I don't know if there's anyone out there rooting against Zion.
No,
like,
I want him to be a Nick. You know, I think he could be rejuvenated.
Usually when people get anointed as the next thing, immediately people will start hating.
Yeah, future Nick.
Yeah, of course. I wonder
with an aging LeBron James.
I wonder if everyone still wants Zion in town. Remember, like there was like a week of when they made the trade for Cam Reddish, that it was like, oh, Duke, they're gonna have JJ. What's the other guy?
RJ Barrett.
RJ Barrett, Cam Reddish, and they're gonna bring fat slob Zion into town. And goddamn, he would have gotten booed out of New York so fast.
Kyle coming in with a long stat here. Zion is only 21 years old, an average of 27 points per game in 61 games he's played. Insanity to compare him to Odin, who wasn't performing in the NBA. I got Odin as one of my biggest busts. Odin was the #1 pick in 07. He played 84 games in his career. That's one full season, technically, if you think about it. 2 games over 1 full season.
Now, I don't think it's necessarily unfair to compare the two, and I would say only because of the comparison between a Ja Morant and a KD being picked at 2 right after Zion and Greg Oden.
That's so yeah.
So and also look, Zion's a young guy still. I'm not saying that it just looking at him, it doesn't look like it's possible for him to fix things. The Pelicans are no longer promoting Zion as a guy that they're willing to get, sell season tickets to or for. Going into the season, it was all Zion, right? And even with the injury, they just basically lied to their fan base. I think they kind of known the whole time that Zion wasn't going to be ready for this season. And now the new emails that went out trying to sell next season's season tickets, there's no part of Zion. You don't even see his name get mentioned at all.
He's gone, beyond gone.
Yeah, but the thing is, do you really think there's a suitor out there right now that's going to give up?
Yeah.
Who?
The New York Knicks.
From what I'm seeing is
the New York Knicks, only because I think that they're going to.
From what I'm seeing from my sources, and I don't really have any sources at all, but all of these bullshit articles that I read, when I do my research, is that the Pelicans have been low-key shopping Zion, and they're just not getting any offers because what are you going to do to get a name like that? It's like, I'll compare it almost to like Tim Tebow, where if you bring in Zion, you're going to deal with a lot. It's going to be a media circus because just the new
anybody that Knicks bring in,
and just like the writers in that region are going to be salivating to get a piece of Zion, even though he's not done anything in the NBA yet.
Right.
The story is there. It'll be like a Tim Tebow situation where you're getting no talent, you're getting no production, but you have to deal with all this extra headache.
Now we're talking about the biggest bust in pro sports history. You bring up Tebow. Do you feel like Tebow is a big bust?
No, I don't. I
He's
really
had some
don't.
success, right? Like,
I think that when you look at a guy where he was picked, yeah, Tim Tebow was probably a bust because he was picked in the first round.
yeah, late first round though.
But the first round pick.
I know.
Quarterback first
Trying
round.
to make excuses for my boy Tim.
If you draft a quarterback in the first round, you're drafting him to be the starter of your team at some point or another. And Tim Tebow did win a playoff game.
Yes, he did. Shout out to Demaryius Thomas. Rest in peace.
But I'm not going to put Tim Tebow near the top of the list of busts because I think largely throughout the NFL circles was that he wasn't really touted to be a great quarterback. It's just one team went ahead and
right. More like a leader and like a good locker room guy and all that stuff.
But like in terms of the guys that there are on the list, I would put Tim Tebow way down on the list.
All right. So I have to, so I have a couple that I wrote down as far as bust. Jamarcus Russell. Well, there it is. Mark just brought it up. Jamarcus Russell, number 1 overall pick in 2007. Ryan Leaf, number 2 pick overall in 98. Those stand out to me. Here's one that I think there's a debate for because he was kind of fun to watch for a little while. Vince Young. Do you feel like he was drafted number 3 overall and now he's bankrupt? He's like he's obviously out of football. Nobody ever talks about him anymore. But like, I felt like he rejuvenated the Titans offense a little bit. No. You think it's a complete bust?
Yeah. I mean, he was the greatest college quarterback in history, arguably. You can make the case that like what Vince Young did in his college career, he basically went in and beat up on USC single-handedly. And that was one of the greatest college football teams ever assembled with the USC team with Reggie Bush, Leinart. You know, they were stacked. So yeah, Vince Young is definitely up there on the list. I find it hard. You know, who was Vince Young picked over that was successful
in that draft?
Yeah,
that's something
at that position. I have a different criteria.
I forget what year
in terms of finding who I think is the biggest bust because there's a lot of guys, man, like Jamarcus Russell. That's cookie cutter. It's like the Ryan Leafs. That's easy. You know, I would say guys like RG3 is almost a bigger bust than them because of other extenuating circumstances that surround the situation. Whereas like RG3 was picked 2nd overall, and he didn't even get the starting job by year 2. Granted, he was injured, and they dogged him in that situation. He should have never been out there.
Right.
But Kirk Cousins ends up winning the starting job, and he was drafted in the same class. You get what I'm saying? So now it's like, okay, you picked a quarterback in the 2nd round or whenever they picked. I think Cousins was second round.
Yeah.
And you have a guy in the 1st round that's not starting, and he's playing backup quarterback for the guy you picked after him. I think that's egregious. You look at the Packers when they drafted Tony Mandrich in 89, Barry Sanders was on the board, Deion Sanders was on the board. There's like the 1989 draft outside of Aikman, who went first. Correct me if I'm wrong.
89, yeah.
Right? And then
they went
1-15, but the Packers, well, Aikman won 3 rings. So the Packers took Tony Mandrich 2nd, and then look at the 1989 1st round.
Yeah,
it's littered with Hall of Famers.
Coming out in the comments here, there's Adam Morrison from Gonzaga. If you remember him, going back to basketball for a second, that Gonzaga team was what made me like Gonzaga and get the Gonzaga hat and like lock on to Gonzaga, which is, by the way, Toast's squad, right?
Yeah, Adam
Morrison was that dude, bro. But I feel like he was the only one with a mustache.
With the NBA, I'm going to say the biggest bust that I could think of in my lifetime was probably Darko. Has to be.
Okay. What about Jay Williams? Jay Motorcycle Williams. We had this problem yesterday.
I mean, like
we couldn't determine which one was which.
injuries, freak injuries off the court. I find that hard to, Jay Williams was on his way to being
a North Carolina guy, right? Hansborough.
Oh, he was never supposed to be good.
Oh, no? I kind of.
He's I bought pure college, a little bit. Pure college guy. Christian Laettner.
Oof.
Right?
I mean, yeah. I mean, sure. Anand Ashar coming in saying Zach Wilson. They determining that he's a bust already.
No,
is that too quick?
Way too soon. Way too soon. You could say Baker, maybe.
See, it sucks, man. Because when Baker is on, bro, I think Baker is money. And speaking of money, Johnny Manziel, one of the biggest busts ever, right? But like Baker Mayfield, I feel like it's weird. This new dynamic of, and I've said this plenty of times on this show, that like when these guys are in a bad mood, it becomes like, I can't get it done. Murray and Lamar Jackson and all these guys, Baker Mayfield, one of them. But when he's on, I feel like that dude is on. And he's a gamer. He played with shoulder injuries. He's like, so I don't consider him a bust yet.
He was picked 1st overall.
I'm well aware.
Who was in that draft class?
Saquon Barkley, Sam Darnold, all same thing. Same draft.
Was that the Josh Allen? Oof. So that's what I'm saying. It's like now we can make the case even more. All right, I have a bigger one for you. Mitch Trubisky. He was picked second overall. They
traded
up to get him, and they didn't trade up to get Pat Mahomes. And I think Pat Mahomes was probably picked in the pick or after the pick that they originally had to begin with. Right. So that's a bad one. That's for you, Jamie Silverberg.
Everybody that the Bobcats drafted is a bust.
So I would like to add an honorable mention, bust, all-time bust. Me. Because at one point I was going to be starting shortstop for the Yankees and the first white cornerback to ever play for the Packers. And I'm neither of those things right now. So
and now you're just a professional amateur snowboarder.
Right?
Every Jacksonville quarterback, according to Scoop, is a bust. Maurice Claret, good one. That was a really good one. He was supposed to be something special. I wrote down Lawrence Phillips and Kajana Carter. Lawrence Phillips killed somebody, and then I think he got killed.
Kajana Carter,
number 1 overall. He was hurt in the preseason. Ready for this? Hurt in the preseason in his rookie year. Number 1 overall in 95. He rushed for 1,144 yards over 7 seasons. You talk about somebody who just never got it going.
Yeah.
Kajana Carter is one of those guys.
He was one of my favorite college football players ever, Kajana Carter.
Achilles Smith. Bengals just offer, right? I mean, they're in 99. He's the number 3 overall pick. They didn't land there either. There's so many. Kyle coming in. I don't know if anybody ever beat Anthony Bennett, first overall pick in 2013. No injuries, excuses.
Yeah,
just suck.
I compare Zion to Anthony Bennett. I say that all the time. He just reminds me of him. And that's what I thought of when I first saw him when he was like a sophomore in high school. I was like, he looks like he's going to be huge, like fat huge. And he is fat huge.
Scoop coming in. David Carr. Definitely. He definitely set records for most times being sacked as a rookie.
Yeah, I would say
he beat the Cowboys in his first game ever.
I would say that that's kind of unfair as well. He was in the worst situation ever. They still haven't fixed it in Houston. So.
Back to NBA, Kwame Brown. Yeah, he's one of them. Scoop, it's funny. I said this guy out loud, Charles Rodgers. I was like, I think the biggest claim to fame with him was like he got on like the Madden commercial in 03, and that was it. Like, no, but I think that's when the Lions drafted like a receiver in the first round for the 3 years in a row. And that was when I believe Megatron was one of them. No, that's too early. I mean, that's too late.
It was Roy Williams.
Which Cowboys gave up 2 first-round picks for him. Good Lord.
So that was actually probably the Lions' best draft pick outside of Calvin Johnson and Matthew Stafford because they drafted Roy Williams and turned it into 2 picks.
Is it too early to say Sam Darnold's a bust? Chris Payne coming in with that. I mean, that's the Jets Payne coming out.
It's not too early. But here's the thing. It's like, yes, guys are busts. But I don't think that when Sam Darnold was picked by the Jets, there wasn't like 100% happiness. People were like a little apprehensive about it. There's skepticism surrounding those picks. To me, the biggest bust is like this is a can't miss, or a guy like Darko being picked over a Wade and a Carmelo and a Bosch. You know, so it's like you're taking this guy over these like surefire Hall of Famers.
You're sticking with that, motherfucker.
You know, yeah.
Anand came in saying he hate me. Well, I mean, he got the good press with the XFL. Rod Smart, I believe his name is. I think he signed with the Eagles, which is, by the way, your first mistake. Secondly, I think he was just a kick returner for a little while. Who do
you think will be the biggest bust of the inaugural USFL draft?
That did go down. I forgot all about this actually.
That's
before
why I brought it up.
Good call. The USFL draft happened last night too. We'll get back to bust in a second. But I do want to shout out one guy, Tyler Catalina. He's an offensive tackle, played for the Redskins. He's the brother of Tony Catalina, who is on my First and 10 podcast on Blogging the Boys. So his brother gets drafted last night as I believe the sixth or seventh or 8th, one of those in that range of tackles taken in the USFL. I did also speak to the New Jersey Generals quarterback, Ben Holmes. He will be on the podcast in the future dates. I also spoke with Justin Hines, by the way, last night. The new Bears assistant defensive line coach, former Woodbridge Baron, will be joining the podcast as well. So that's a couple things I wanted to say about the USFL. As far as busts are concerned, the biggest bust of the USFL will be Paxton Lynch. That's what I think. Paxton Lynch, I remember being in that draft with Dak 2016, and I know Jerry Jones was like, we got to trade up. We got to get this Paxton Lynch guy. He's going to be something special. And I was on board. I was like, we got to get up. We got to get Pat. We got to get somebody for Romo. He's coming out to, the end of his career. And then they passed up on him. And I'm like, well, now what? And then they drafted a guy named Dak Prescott in the 4th round. I think the rest is history. I think I'm okay. But now Paxton Lynch gets drafted last night. Paxton Lynch joins my biggest bust. He was not biggest bust, but he was touted to be good.
Did he get drafted by Denver?
What?
Did he get drafted by Denver?
Yes. So Denver has just completely dropped the ball with quarterbacks. They just John Elway of all people Can't get it right with quarterbacks.
John Elway's,
Joey Harrington.
John
Holy
Elway's
shit.
hammered 90%
Every time,
of the time.
right.
So
He was hammered when they interviewed Flores. Mitch made the playoffs. Oh, Mitch Trubisky. Brandon Taylor came and said Mitch made the playoffs. So does that make him a bust? Did you take him out of the bust category?
yeah, Rex Grossman made a Super Bowl. Fuck is your point?
Hawaii Mike, Josh Rosen. Boy, oh boy. I could have called this from miles and miles away because when this kid was drafted, he was touted as the one that said, if football don't work out for me, I'm fine. He said that. He went on record like he comes from a rich family.
So he's fine.
So I guess he's fine because football did not work out for him.
But like
actually,
I said,
he's still
dude,
in the NFL
I don't
somehow.
think Josh Rosen's a big bust. I think he's just a terrible pick. You know, like there's
okay. So there's a massive difference.
There's bad picks and then there's busts. And bust is when it's like everyone thinks you're going to be good and you're not good. And there's just all this hype. But when people like, is Daniel Jones a bust? No. Honestly,
soon to be.
He's like a 3rd round pick. If he was a backup quarterback, you're like, oh, he carved out a nice solid career for himself. For him, good on him because he's getting paid like a 1st rounder right now. So if it doesn't work out, at least he's rich.
He's not getting paid like a 1st rounder. He's getting paid as a first
rounder. Yeah.
So there's no like he's getting paid. The Joey Harrington. This is the 2nd time that I've seen that name. That's so funny, bro. He was I think he was the 3rd overall pick in the draft. I forget what year it was, but boy, man, he sucked too. Matt Leinert's on my list. Tim Couch is on my list.
Did Rick Meyer get picked above Drew Bledsoe?
Rick Meyer's on my list. Right. Dude, here's hockey. Ant, you ready for this? Rick D Pietro. A lot of hype behind that guy.
That's a terrible bust.
Bust, yes, but now a successful radio host in New York. So he's doing fine in his new career.
He's getting paid in, I think, for the next 5 years.
So he's got a nice little
we got an
contract.
RG3 mention. I mentioned RG3 earlier, and he actually made the thumbnail today.
Yeah,
because I do think RG3.
Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, but
he's carved himself out of role in Oakland.
But he was picked
Vegas.
2nd overall. So wasn't he picked 2nd overall behind? Was it Andrew Luck? No, it wasn't Andrew Luck.
Same draft as Luck.
No.
Nope. I don't know.
God damn it.
It's okay.
God damn.
Oh, Brian Bosworth. I don't know why I didn't say him. He's literally right here. I'm like almost starred on my list. Bosworth was touted to be one of the greatest linebackers maybe to ever play the game. And then everybody knows that one moment, Bosworth and Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson. Is he a bust? Technically? I mean, think about it. He didn't do much.
He did much.
He did much. He's a multi-sport guy.
Yeah, so he was an all-star in baseball.
But overall, I don't know. I think he's fenced. No. I don't know.
He's definitely not a bust. He had success. He was good. He got injured. Henry Ruggs.
I mean, Henry Ruggs also killed a man, so he's definitely a bust. Yeah, so officially, because he will not play again, I would think, right? I mean,
Martin Gramatica.
Gramatica, you nuts? You former Cowboys kicker. Gramatica kicked the game-winning field goal when I was at Fox and Hound, blitzed at Fox and Hound, drove home, blitzed, got beat up by my dad and my brother. That was a fun night. But I always remember Gramatica kicked that game-winning kick for me to take all those shots.
Worst DraftKings commercial, by the way.
Oh, yes.
When they did the Gramatica.
So, yes, Mariota was picked behind Jameis.
Is Jameis Winston a bust?
No, I think Jameis Winston
he's going to
starting
be a
caliber
starter.
Quarterback in the league still.
Okay.
There's no way you're telling me that there's 25 guys better than Jameis Winston right now. No way.
Well, who's worse than Jameis Winston? I'll pitch that to you right now. Who's worse than Jameis Winston? Honestly, that's tough.
Okay, so Carson Wentz.
You think Carson Wentz is worse than Jameis Winston?
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
I mean that warms my heart.
I do.
I'm all right with that.
I think Jalen Hurts is worse. I think.
Whoa,
whoever the
you
Washington
were
football team.
Jalen Hurts this year.
but I feel like Jameis Winston's better.
Okay, I like it.
Jalen Hurts has potential to pass him and be better, but right now, no way. Even Mac Jones isn't as good as Jameis Winston. If you put Jameis Winston on the Patriots, they're a better team, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. Carson Palmer. Here's an interesting one. Bust? I don't know. I think he played great. He just couldn't get over the playoff hump. That Bengals team, all those Bengals teams from 91 on, never won a playoff game. I mean, that's not him. That could be on Marvin Lewis. That could be on a bunch of factors. I think
trying
Carson
to think
Palmer
of
was good.
MMA busts.
Davis Mills.
Brock
What?
bust in MMA.
Bro, he's a heavyweight champion of the world.
Yeah, gift wrapped. Get the fuck
Gift wrapped?
No
Stop.
lie.
He beat
Randy
Couture.
Randy Couture was 11 years older than I am now. All right, and he had to fight
Doesn't
a
matter.
juiced up Brock. Stop.
Brock, come
That
on,
was
stop it.
spoon-fed
You
to
gotta
him.
stop this
Stop.
shit.
Stop, Dave. Want me to give you a fucking heavyweight title too? Just give it to you because that's.
I mean, I'll take
basically
a
what
heavyweight
they
title.
did.
Sure.
Stop.
Sure.
bro.
Well, you know what I found out while you've been gone? Since there's been so many things happening while you've been gone. I drink coffee now. I'm a
It's
grown
whole new man.
I'm a grown adult now, right? I found out Tommy D actually was like an MMA fighter, like in training. Are you about to debunk this? Because
So like
said-
he took jiu-jitsu class.
class is. He said like
Yes.
for a long
So
time.
Tommy definitely will choke somebody out. We'll give him that. But pump the brakes, Tommy. I know you're in this fucking chat right now. There is no.
he sent me like a flip phone picture
Tommy
last
Tommy
night.
never
Like,
made.
"See?
Tommy,
It is me.
Tommy. Did you make weight? Did you ever have to cut weight? Did you ever enter it? No. And I don't think that he's embellishing in that regard. I think maybe you're doing the embellishing here by saying that he was a fighter. I'll kick the fucking shit out of Tommy right now. All right.
He'll dominate him.
Stop.
I'll dominate. I'll dominate.
Stop.
Can we make this happen?
Can we make that shirt happen? I'll dominate.
Oh,
I just
I'll
want that. I'll dominate.
I want
That's the
that, and I
Chris
want a
Gucci
lock
shirt.
sleeve
But
shirt.
no, Tommy definitely will. Like I said, he will choke you out. Maybe not you particularly, like because you guys are friends. But like if things happen,
last time we had a
yeah,
conversation about
if
people
things
choking people out
happen-
around
if
here.
things happen to
it
go,
got
yeah,
hostile.
I know. Let's go, Gooch.
Oh,
Tommy
he
wants to fight.
go. He wants to
Damn,
go,
bro.
bro. Tommy D.
I'm over here.
versus
You know
Gooch.
what? I pumped my brakes on saying Tommy will choke somebody out. Tommy's a pussy. He definitely won't choke anybody out. I'm trying to be nice here because I was just bashing the guy.
Gooch is back spitting
Tommy,
fire.
I'm gonna do push-ups after this. Rev
Oh,
versus
we love you,
Gooch.
Tommy.
Who's Rev? Oh, the
The
Reverend
Reverend.
Tommy D.
Reverend
Okay,
Tommy.
yeah.
Slap you back to hell, bro. Fuck out of here. The Reverend. Nice
I like
try.
that. Oh man. I mean, the only guy that that's so funny. The guy that was named Lucifer in my backyard fed guy sucked. That had to have been Tommy D, who called himself Lucifer. You loser, bro. You
Come
loser.
on.
Oh man, we're ganging up on Tommy now. I'm sorry. But yeah, so anyway, those are the busts, I think. I mean, there's been a lot of other ones.
Mr. Giuliani Drip himself.
That's terrible. Absolutely awful. Sports, man. Gotta love it. Gotta love Tommy D. And if you want to check out the Chop Heads Combat Sports podcast, that's available now. We go over the Elimination Chamber. So if you guys are wrestling fans out there, which I know a lot of you guys are, you're closet fans, you don't like to talk about it. It's not going to take your man card away, guys. You can actually openly admit that you like professional wrestling. Okay, that's allowed. It's fine. For Christ's sakes, there's a former professional wrestler, not only sitting right here in the studio, but there's one in the chat as well. Chris Payne. He's responsible for my 18th concussion as a wrestler.
Damn, Hawaii Mike's not wrong.
What?
The Chop Sports BQ. I
Yeah.
have a little circuit going on. I got to fight Tommy. Right, I have to go first takedown with Paz to start the entire event.
Wow,
off.
that ought to start
Beat
off.
the shit out of you guys in tennis. And
I was going to say,
then-
you're fighting me now.
We got a busy summer coming.
Tennis.
No, tennis. Yeah, today, we already said it. Me and Scoop said it yesterday that if we were going to play you in tennis, today would be the day. Like you're sore, you're banged
I have
up.
a bruised booty.
You have a bruised booty hole, and now this is a good time to play tennis and smoke you in there. Last thing's Millage, Ken Pullman coming in, so he beat the hell out of Mir. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, he's talking about Brock too. Definitely beat the hell out of Mir after he lost to the heel hook, but that beat the shit out of him and then flipped him off afterwards and told everybody he was going to drink Budweiser.
yeah,
Love Brock
Priu
Lesnar.
Sada beat the shit out of nobody.
Bruised butt crack. Did you break your coccyx, bro?
How many what do you think Brock's testosterone levels were during the second Mir fight?
Probably through the roof.
Yeah, they might as
you know
well
where mine
fought-
are?
They might as well fought in Japan or Russia. Did you see how these crazy Russian? I mean, I know that we're not supposed to be talking good about Russia,
Don't do that.
but the Russian MMA is just a wild fucking scene. They can't have a press conference without 3 guys getting knocked out cold. How do they even put on cards at this point?
It's like pro wrestling when they try to have a contract signing. It's always somebody goes to the
no,
table.
but it's not even like it's fake. And the craziest part about this is why, like, I feel like Russia is like a terrifying place, is because there's an all-out brawl, right? And you'll see a guy like on his phone, not even look. It's like this guy just knocked your boy
Just
out
another
with
Wednesday.
a 5-piece in a stare down, and you just sit there. It's like, I feel like it's like part of it has to be staged, but everyone knows, everyone's in on it except for the guy that gets knocked unconscious.
Biggest bust in wrestling, Destruction, and then Chris Payne too. Chris,
That
bro.
is legendary.
Chris had so much promise, and then he just, I don't know. You know why? You know what it was? He was too busy. I'll tell you right now what it was, and I'll look you dead in the face, Chris. The reason why Chris Payne didn't.
Oh, I feel like this is also going to be added to the Chop Sports BQ circuit. If you're talking
professional
shit,
wrestling match,
I feel like you're cutting a promo.
Payne?
I feel like you're cutting a promo right now.
I like it.
Because you said, I'm going to
get
say this to your
boots and your
face.
tassels ready, brother.
Uh-oh.
When I tell you this, Chris Payne, he was
talking about bruised
really,
booty holes. You're talking about fucking boots and tassels and pro
bro,
wrestling.
oh, Scoobaloo, Brodus Clay. No, he's actually isn't he a personality now on like Fox News and shit? Doesn't he know shit or whatever? Anyway, Chris Payne. Back to Chris Payne for a second. Chris Payne had the look, he had the skills. He just spent too much goddamn time and money on new gear. Every time this guy had a match, he had to spend money and focus on how do I look, bro?
I could probably relate to that.
bro.
I spend for no reason, and like that's how we have 90% of the
gear
equipment we have.
whore. I can't imagine when he shows his son, like, hey, this is Dad's old gear. Like, Dad, why is it an entire trunk full of trunks? And boot tassels, by the way. That was his debut match. He wore tassels like the Ultimate Warrior.
That's hot.
Don't ever let you forget that. That was one of your biggest.
I want to comment on Chris Payne's comment about Frank Mir being on the sauce for a couple of years too. It's like, yeah, if you get mauled by a steroid bear, then usually what you do is like, what did he do? Then you take steroids and you try and become a less big steroid bear.
He's laughing at you. Legit knockouts at the press conference and nobody flinches.
It's so true though.
Funny. Bro, that's hilarious.
And then they let these poor guys fight the next day. It's like somebody has to save these guys from themselves at this point because they got their entire team that didn't even budge when they got knocked unconscious, and they're like coaching them the next day to go out there and fight.
It's insane.
It's like, no, I just fought. I lost. I'm not fighting him again. Nope.
Next.
It's not going to happen.
Oh, man. Well, it's been good to have Gooch back in the building. It's been a great show here. We always like slandering the biggest busts in pro sports history. That ought to get us the likes and the views. But as you're watching this, please be sure to like the video, please, and subscribe to the channel. We are growing. We're at like 718 right now, which, by the way, we're at 720. So two you mother effers decided to back out. Not cool, guys. Not cool. I'll send Chris Payne after your ass.
I did
Tommy D for that
extensive
matter.
Research on why our numbers might diminish, and it's the same as every other social media bots.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to tell myself,
Bot
just so I don't.
mad.
Because if I lose a subscriber and I feel like it's something like it's not a bot, I have to tell myself it was a bot. Otherwise, I'll have to find this person and ask him directly, like, "Bro, what did we do wrong?"
Yeah. What did we do?
Because I'm so worried what people think of me.
Monday
For someone that acts like I don't care, I care way too much.
Monday through Friday, 11 o'clock. Set your alarm. Hit the little bell thingy so you're notified that we go live each and every day of the week. And yeah, man, this has been another great show. So, of course, thank you guys for listening. Please be sure, like I said, follow us on all the social medias at Chop Sports Media. Brand new Jersey Boys podcast, by the way, just dropped. I think it's one of our better podcast episodes. I brought in Nick Ralston, the fullback of the Dallas Cowboys. Not a former, not a future. He is currently on the roster right now. In fact, which was funny, he won't mind me saying this if he's watching. He had a lot of technical difficulties, right? And he couldn't get the Wi-Fi right, couldn't hear us. I even told Dina.
Wait, I wasn't paying attention. Who? Just say who?
Nick Ralston.
Okay.
My guest. Anyway, so it was hard. I was trying to get him, his connection was bad, blah, blah, blah. I even came out to the studio, right? I came out in the hallway. I told Dina, I was like, it's been 40 minutes and we haven't started yet. So it was rough, but we got started and he had like a virtual brick background, very similar to what Jimmy does, right? So at the end of it, I was like, so you got service? He's like, yeah, I'm at the Star. I'm like, that's so cool. Like he went to his practice facility just to do the interview because he knows the Wi-Fi is good there. AT&T awesome. Stadium. So of course, all the stuff, they're probably sponsored out the ass by AT&T. And then he took the brick background down and he gave us like a little virtual tour of the practice facility, which is dope. So check out that episode. Nick Ralston joins myself and Brett Ernst of Cobra Kai fame. He doesn't like when I say that, but I don't really care. He doesn't listen to the show anyway. So he told me, actually, he invited me and Nick out to Vegas on March 5th. I don't think that's going to happen. But he did say for me to go down to Philly March 3rd. Brett will be in York, Pennsylvania for his stand-up tour. And he said that he's going to eat like a king. So he invited me. And I'm like, like, is it pizza? Because if it's not pizza, I'm not going. Like, cheesesteaks. I'm not eating cheesesteaks. But anyway.
We had a power outage for 6 minutes. So we owe them 6 minutes, apparently. I've been holding in a fart for the last 40 minutes, so I'm sure it could last 6 minutes if I just let it out slow.
Oh my God. I almost looked at it. I looked real quick and I just saw Ashley come in. It says depends. And I'm like, well,
no, that she's talking about me not caring or caring. About,
it depends.
Like, I don't care, but I care. She's like, it depends on the situation. She
Situation.
knows me so well.
Oh God. God. Anyway, let's see. Overeem Pride. He peaks in tail traps. Unlike you're an asshole.
He used to eat fucking.
No,
horse
first
meat.
of all, what about Overeem Pride? He had peaks and a hill for traps. Unlike Sturch, people get on me about the traps. Look, man, I can't help genetics. Okay, my traps are.
And honestly,
boulders.
it was more like Overeem in the UFC pre-USADA, because in Pride he was still fighting at middleweight and light heavyweight. It was when he left Pride and went to K1 that he started really juicing, and then came over to the UFC, and it was like they literally created him in a lab.
Are we doing the fight here?
Yeah, Anand came in. Just so you know, Anand, there will more than likely be a little bit of a watch party here on March 5th. So if you're a Patreon member, which by the way, patreon.com/chopsports. If you're a Patreon member, a Dynasty member, the $10 a month, come on down to the studio and watch the fights with us. We'll have some beers, we'll have some food. Might even go live on Facebook. Some reactions.
What day is this? March
It's the
5th?
Colby Covington Street.
I'll probably
fight.
get here
so
right for the main event, but I will come.
What, you got something going on?
Is it a Saturday?
Yes. Oh. You could just take off. Like, yeah, that's been pretty easy for you, right?
Yeah, that's why I have no money. But
sure. Listen,
fuck it.
I mean, we're a small business, right? This is why you got to go to patreon.com/chopsports, help out Chop Sports, and of course, chopsports.shop for all of our merchandise. Rep the brand, spread the word. I really, really appreciate that. That's how we're getting out there. We definitely, again, we thank our sponsors, Lilac and Sage Boutique, and of course, Manscaped for being a part of us. They have some trust in us right now. And of course, Absolute Eyewear, keep coming back for more. So we appreciate everybody and all the support. So if you know anybody, small business that wants to advertise with Chop Sports, send them my way. So neither has Dave. He just goes for the lighting and pictures. I haven't been to a gym in 5 years. I haven't been in a week. I haven't been to a gym in a week. I've had some personal physical ailments, meaning I'm just beat to shit and I needed a break. So I just took a break off the gym. I'll be back on Friday. But in any event, according to your BMI, Scoop is obese. Yeah, I mean, I saw you yesterday. I mean, he's like skinny fat.
I'm going to let Scoop borrow my Manscaped, I think.
No.
Wait. That's not going to happen, actually, the more I think about it. But, Scoop, maybe you should order one, 20% off, bro.
Yeah, man, Chop Sports to check out. Everybody here.
That beard was looking a little
Payne,
grizzly
I'm talking
yesterday.
Anand. I'm talking to all you dudes out here watching right now as we're ending the show. Mark, I'm talking Sam Grasso.
Have you ever
I'm talking
shaved
to you.
your balls with ceramic?
Tommy D.
If you haven't, then now is the time.
Tommy D thought he was getting something.
Lawnmower 4.0. Tommy, they did not give hair dye out in the 4.0 performance package, but we will email them and say, hey, if you guys have anything for my boy's sideburns, so we get that.
Yeah.
The last time he did it, there was sweat drips of black hair dye.
The Giuliani going on. That was pretty funny. All right, we're really getting out of here. We got work to do. For Sturch and Gooch, and of course, Dina, thank you for producing. A4 in the house as well. Thank you for doing everything that you've been doing this whole time. So also, sorry about the power outage. We appreciate you guys sticking with us. That's how we know we have loyal people that decide to come back for more, and we really appreciate that. So we'll see you guys tomorrow on a Thirsty Thursday.
I think I'm going to make a post today.
Like a social media post?
Like I'm going to post.